Any question from last lecture? Anybody? Okay. Today's topic is restraining forces of international trade. First one, anybody? What are the restraining forces? Anybody? Start. Today's topic is restraining forces in international trade. First one is resource crunch. Like you don't have resources, like your organization or company or individual, as an individual, you don't have resources. Resource crunch is there, like resources in terms of 4M or 4M's or 5M's, like men, machine, money, matter, and market. You don't have skilled manpower, so ultimately you cannot manufacture specialized products, better products, or you don't have better machines. Again, there is a crunch of machines, and for machines you have to have money to buy those machines, and then infrastructural facilities are there. Infrastructural facilities are not available in your organization. It is again this problem. Then technology is costly or simple, whatever things are there. You don't have technology. So such type of resource crunch is a raw material is not available. Whether you have to import, whether you have to just buy from domestic market, it may be in your nearby vicinity, it may be in you can say far away prices. Like cement factories are being opened where you can say mines of calcium carbonate, or you can say limes are there. Then you can say refineries are there. Refineries are being constructed, established near seashores, or where you have closer access to the you can say source. Then next one is a lack of global orientation. The company, or you can say organization, people they are working, are those who are you can say those who have promoted this organization, they don't have orientation, they don't have global orientation, they don't have you can say vision, they don't have dreams to grow like a multinational company, like a global corporations. I told you, like orientation, ethnocentric, EPRG orientation, ethnocentric, polycentric, regiocentric, and globocentric. First one is ethnocentric, is that you where you are exporting, to whom you are exporting, or you can say those countries which have similar type of culture which you have. Like India's culture is similar to Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, and Mauritius, where you have similar type of culture, similar type of habits, behavior of consumers are there. The products are similar. Then you are exporting to those markets where easily you can access. Cultural factors are similar. Languages are more or less similar. Then you have a sort of affinity, or you can say closeness, and you ultimately opt for you can say such type of market. You feel better, you feel safer. That's why they are your neighboring countries, like SAARC countries, or SAFTA is there, or again next Asian countries are there. ASEAN is there. Major members are original members are 10 members are there. Along with that, you can say it has associate members and others are there. You can just or you can say English speaking countries are there, like we have access to those countries, similar type of, you can say, there is a no problem of language. Then we are also English speaking country, and because English, or you can say, the UK has ruled in India more than 200 years. And they left a sort of English culture and imbibed by Indians. Then polycentric approach is there. You are managing in India, many companies are there. They are managing so many countries at a time, so many continents they are managing at a time. And then regiocentric approach, you are managing regions. Regions are there. Just the Gulf is there, Southeast Asia is there, Asian countries are there, Latin American countries are there, NAFTA is there, and South American countries are there. So, and other plenty of, you can say, many nations are there you can have. Then last is geocentric or globocentric orientation is there, where products are, you can say, similar type of approach is needed. No change in strategy, or you can say 4Ps, similar type of products and services, similar type of pricing strategy. Such type of orientation, lack of orientation, whether you have ethnocentric, polycentric, regiocentric, and geocentric. Another one, you can say, some people have myopic approach. They don't have far-sightedness. They have myopic approach. They think small. They don't think bigger in a big way. Then mental inertia of the promoter. एक जैसे कहते हैं सारी फैसिलिटीज अवेलेबल, ऑल द फैसिलिटीज दे आर अवेलेबल, बट इवन देन they have a sort of myopic approach, or they have a sort of mental inertia. They have a mental inertia, so they cannot reach to that place where it is needed. Then what is the culture of the organization? Suppose everybody is progressive in nature. They work hard, they think big, behave big, and their culture is progressive. They think beyond frontiers. They want to earn dollar. They want to make their place in the global world as an international organization, multinational organizations, or you can say transnational corporations are them. And you can say in the last few years, or you can say since last 30 years, after globalization, LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization program, when we implemented, many new organizations they have emerged, and plus whatever existing big players are there, they have, you can say, they did a lot of good work in international, or you can say export market. Then progressive and approach, mindset and attitude is export oriented, thinking big beyond frontline. Then they believe in, you can say, research and development, like Bajaj Auto is there, Akurde Pune. They have you can say research center, Enfield Bullet, they have their R&D center. Hero has R&D center. Tata Motors and Tata Groups have research centers, and they are working well. You can say many others, they have also research centers. So then they get new ideas, products and services. Then investment in R&D, as I told you, it is a, you can say, sort of you can say an asset to the organization. Then government policies and programs. Government policies and programs are there, like government policy to promote, to provide incentives, like tax holidays are there. For 5 to 10 years, every organization, those who are you can say export oriented units, are being given, you can say, facility of tax holidays, customs and excise, free from customs and excise, land is being given at lower rate. So then such type of, they may not be, you can say, restraints. Biggest factor, that land is not level, suitable land is not level, or you can say access is not available. They are quite far away from either airport, or you can say dry port, or you can say ports. This is the, you can say, biggest problem they may face. Like lending rates, like Bombay is a very costly, Nariman Point is a very costly place in the world, where you can say if you are taking a site on lease, it is a very costly affair. Then like restriction on export and import. Suppose you are exporting and you are being restricted, like in case of corona pandemic, or you can say Covishield, or you can say government of India stopped export of this one. Before that, we had exported vaccines to other parts of the world. Okay, so then you because you needed vaccine in India, like onion is there. Onion politics is there, that you cannot export, you have to suspend your export order. Ultimately, you have to import. Sometimes when onion, you can say acreage, or you can say onion production has gone down. Then dumping duty imposed on surplus available items and commodities. Like suppose China is dumping their product in India, because they have economies of scale, and their cost is less, and you can say so many countries, they are dumping their product in India, like solar panel. Restriction on import or import, like onion, you cannot export when it is not available. Solar panel, you can say it is being dumped in India, or somewhere government of India is not. Government of India has certain reservations. Then intention of policymakers. Again, there is a problem not problem. What is a government export and import policy? What are intentions of government is there, whether to export or import? Or suppose some items are there, then they are serious, or you can say they have certain strategic importance, they are not being exported. Then you can say that. Then country or region specific policies are there. We have like recently, because of under pressure of America, we have stopped importing petrol from this one from Iran. Ultimately, Iran has banned ONGC from its project. Okay, so recently, few days back, Iran has banned ONGC from its project, because we are not just taking crude from Iran. Earlier, it was one of the biggest, largest supplier of crude to our refineries. Then a country or region specific policy, as I told you. Then we had to export vaccine to USA under pressure. Okay, few months last year, we had exported our vaccine to America. Or certain policies are there that we have to import, we have to export to our, you can say, neighboring countries, neighbor first, or you can say, or where we have, you can say, friendship. Like Russia has exported us its Sputnik vaccine. Then Harley Davidson, it is a, you can say, power motorcycle, and ultimately some steps were taken to reduce, you can say, certain duties on this product. Then India is agri surplus country. Policy is not to import agri products. Like we are surplus in agriculture products. We have enough production of agriculture, or you can say cereals, or you can say other type of products. Agri products are there, milk is there, or you can say fruit and vegetables are there. Then certainly we don't import such type of product, or you can say just discourage such type of products. Then another one biggest factor is there in case of a restraint, you can say tariff and non-tariff barriers are there. Tariff in the sense where octroi cess duties are being imposed on the on export and imports from other countries. Then like like tariff duties are, it is a monetary or in quantitative terms, like in terms of rupee, in terms of dollar, certain duties are being imposed over the products. Then non-tariff barriers are there. Other than non-tariff, they have no relation with cess duty, or you can say on export and import. They are invisible, or you can say they are more dangerous, and you cannot quantify the, you can say non-tariff barriers. Like you can say environmental factors are there. Then product standards are there. Qualities, they have high standard of quality, or product standards are there. You have to adhere as an exporter. Then you have to comply, otherwise they will not have a sort of export from your country. Then child labor. Suppose you are using child labor, like in Bangladesh. In our case also, our third world countries, child labor is being used, and they you can say they reject your export, or they reject your consignment. And what are the working conditions? Few years back there was a case in Bangladesh where a building was there, and in thousands they were working in the building. Ultimately building was collapsed. Ultimately the company had visited, they had seen the facilities provided to the workers. And what are the facility? Even you can say washroom facilities were not there. They were simply few, or you can say condition was worse, condition was not proper to work there. There was a sort of commotion, there was a sort of congestion was there. Ultimately that country had just you can say turned down its offer, because they were having a buyback production facility was there in Bangladesh, and they were buying their products. Ultimately they had you can say turned down this contract and the broken contract from Bangladesh. And then working standard conditions, and you can say pollution norms are there. Like in India, tanneries are there. Like government of India is just having impose certain type of restrictions on the production of tanneries. Leather tanneries are there. They are using chrome as a, you can say, as a dye, or you can say product in tanning of leather hides. So ultimately Ganges is being polluted. Then it is a big issue, I tell you. So leather taxes are being imposed by the government of India, like in Kanpur, Agra, Madras, and Calcutta, where we have a larger number of units and restrictions are there. Then there are two types of non-tariff barriers are there. One is from developing countries is there, another from developed nations. First, in case of developing countries, like in case of arts case, like we want to conserve foreign exchange. तो हम लोग ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फॉरेन एक्सचेंज बचाना चाहेंगे. हमको डॉलर चाहिए बिकॉज वी हैव टू बाय क्रूड फ्रॉम अदर कंट्रीज. Then another form is their import license. We issue a license to import or export. It is also sort of restraint. Then foreign exchange regulations. Foreign exchange is a sort of scarce item in case of India. Developing nations, we don't have dollar. Ultimately, we have to impose certain foreign exchange restrictions, and we ask everything from exporter or importer. Like I told you, many things are there. Like we import metals for gems and jewelry. Like we import rough diamonds to polish here. Then foreign exchange is needed. Then if you are importing machines from abroad, and ultimately foreign exchange is needed, and exporter has to take foreign exchange from from their bankers, and ultimately you can say required measures are being taken. Then canalization of import, like whatever import and export, like that. Import is being conducted through an agency like State Trading Corporation, Mica Trading Corporation, Minerals and Metals Trading Corporations. Such type of you can say organizations are there. Specialized, they are you can say specialized in export import of certain things. Like we are importing crude, they buy in bulk. Then you can say they, to great extent, they bargain. Ultimately, if you 1 pence you can say, or you can say $1 in per barrel, if you are just bargaining, and ultimately it will be in millions, it will be in many crores. Ultimately, country will be you can say at on gaining side. Then these are the canalizing agencies. Then non-tariff barrier is less transparent. Like child labor is there, whether it has been used or not. You have to certify the environmental factors are there. One is that recently the olive ridley turtles, they are being killed when fish trawlers use their net, and ultimately olive green ridley turtles, they die because of you can say they fell into trap with you can say net. Then they are being difficult to identify, and their impact. What is their impact? In what way non-tariff barriers they have impacted? They have you can say reduced your profit to that extent, and it is also impossible to quantify in terms of dollar, in terms of units, how many dollars or you can say in millions or billions you have lost. Then free trade concept by the developed nations, it is a sort of just big countries like America and European nations and many others just promote free trade, but actually it is not free trade. Ultimately you can say some sorts of conditions, hidden restrictions are there. Conditions are being imposed by developed nations, or it may be vice versa also, either by developing nations or you can say developed nations. So ultimately we are at loss, or developing nations or least developing nations, they are at loss. Then there was a you can say clause by you can say United States of America, Super 301, and you can ultimately it was a sort of harassment of successful rivals. Like in many companies in India, they have faced restrictions from through Super 301, restrictions from the US and many others, you can say, in developed countries. Like those companies which have participated in our atomic explosion program in 1974 and some sort of, you can say, it may be 98 or 96. Then those companies were restricted for longer time. Okay, and those had supplied certain devices to this type of programs, atomic explosion programs. Then ultimately America had restricted, and many other countries in Europe had restricted such type of company. Like recently, Iran has a, you can say, atomic energy program, and it is being restricted by America and other countries out there. Then it is a sort of time consuming, I tell you, it is a time consuming, and it is a very, very time consuming, and you can say ultimately you are losing money, you are just paying interest on you can say your loan and credits. Ultimately you can say you lose your profit. Then a sorts of expensive procedure, voluntary export restraint. Like importer and exporter, they just have a sort of mutual understanding. They have mutual understanding, and ultimately they impose restrictions, and you can say mutually. Then voluntary export restraints are there. Health standards are there. Health and product standards. Like in case of it was 2005 or before that, aziodize. Aziodize क्या करते हैं? It is a sort of cancerous in nature. Aziodize when your textile, cotton, and you can say another textile, and they are being dyed with aziodize. It is a cancerous in nature, and ultimately it was just banned in European nations and developed nations. Then traces of certain chemicals, certain you can say other complex compounds are there. Ultimately your consignment is rejected, export is rejected. Like in case of chili, red chili, Sudan red was found in United Kingdom. Some Indian exporters had exported to United Kingdom. In case of chili, red Sudan is there, जिसे आप कहते हैं कि एक लाल रेड कलर, रेड चिली we use, it is a simply Sudan red dye is there, and ultimately consignment was rejected. Then customs procedure is there. It is a sort of tedious, it is a sort of you can say cumbersome, and you have to pay custom duties are there. Then consular formalities are there. Consular is a, you can say, representative of importing country based in their embassies. For that you have to take permission from consular, and ultimately you have to pay certain you can say duty for taking a consular certificate, and origin of product. Then either it is being certified by Indian business organization or some other organization. So, such type of restrictions, they act as a non-tariff barriers are there. Then licensing, as I told you, you have to take license, export license or import license, and government procurement. Sometimes the government is procuring, you can say, in bulk from open market. Ultimately it is a sort of a beneficial to you can say state or governments, but exporter or importer is a loser because it is being taken and bought by through canalizing agencies. Then another important issue is there TRIPS, trade-related intellectual property rights. Trade-related intellectual property rights. Okay. Then you may have heard, you can say copyrights issue are there. Hollywood films are there. Books are there being copied here. Ultimately, or you can say patent is there in case of corona vaccine. Then third world countries has asked that just give us formula. It is a pandemic. It is a global problem. Ultimately, for certain period, it is to be given free of cost for third world countries or where problems are lying there. Then TRIPS GI is there, general. Then TRIPS is there, trade-related investment measures. Trade-related investment measures. ट्रेड रिलेटेड इन्वेस्टमेंट मेजर्स. तो एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि जैसे आप किसी मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज प्रोड्यूसिंग आर प्रोडक्ट्स इन इंडिया, तो दे हैव टू यूज सर्टेन परसेंटेज ऑफ इंडियन प्रोडक्ट्स, like certain cars are there, autos are there, or you can say some electronic items are there, other items are there, and then you have to use local products or indigenous products from you can say that country. Ultimately, it is a sort of condition being imposed by the, you can say, those countries where productions are being taken. Then so it is one of the major condition of TRIPS are there. TRIPS and you can say one another condition is there. Then GI is there. Geographic indications are there. Some your traditional products are there, like basmati rice is there. Bas means hota hai aroma. Bas means hota hai aroma, खुशबू. माती means होता है बासमती. मती मीन्स होता है माटी मिट्टी से लिया गया है. तो एरोमा ऑफ यू कैन से सॉर्ट ऑफ सॉइल एंड मिट्टी इज कमिंग फ्रॉम बासमती राइस. इट इज़ अ सॉर्ट ऑफ यू कैन से जो हमारे ट्रेडिशनल प्रोडक्ट्स हैं लाइक दार्जिलिंग टी इज देयर. दार्जिलिंग टी इज़ नोन फॉर मस्का टेल फ्लेवर. ए सॉर्ट ऑफ यूनिक फ्लेवर of tea is there. It is a unique product in the world, and ultimately it is being liked by, you can say, it is a sort of premium product in the world, and ultimately fetching premium over this product. And some more costly teas are available and they are being exported from India. It may be 1 lakh per kg, up to 5 lakhs per kg and beyond that. Okay, and there you can say customers are unique, customers are selective, and you can say selected. These are selected products. They are being exported from India. And then GI, काजीवरम पटोला सारीज हैं. हल्दी इज देयर, टर्मरिक इज देयर, नीम इज देयर, गुग्गुल इज देयर, जामुन इज देयर. So they had been actually patented by developed nations approx 15 years back. I have a sort of research paper over this generic indications, like Kolhapuri chappals, Kolhapuri leather slippers. They are being you can say handmade slippers are there. भागलपुर का जो बेडशीट्स हैं, जो भागलपुर चादर हैं, इस तरीके से नाउ डेज वी हैव plenty of products. Then government of India just have providing GI mark, and ultimately it is bringing sort of premium, like Scotch whiskey is there, Scotch whiskey is there, and you can say tequila is there, Mexico map of, you can say, whiskeys or you can say liquors are there. They have patent 47 types of liquors. They are famous all over the world. They have a sort of, you can say, GI mark and indication, fetching a premium. And then socio and cultural factors are there, like several products are there. They have socio-cultural importance. They certain taboos are there, for and against, you can say, convictions are there, traditions are there, or you can say some acceptabilities are there. So they are being banned, or you can say liked or disliked on the guise of certain factors, and you can say ultimately either one is affected. Then political opposition against multinationals, like in case of India, what happened? I tell you, after 1947, we were just against our negative. We were negative again, or you can say against feeling, opposite feeling. You can say British multinational or Europeans, like that. But after 70s, to some extent, we had diluted certain policies and programs by the government of India, and during 80s and ultimately in 91, we had opened our borders, and successfully we had implemented LPG program, liberalization, privatization and globalization program, restructuring of the economy or openness of the economy. Ultimately, you can say we had just opened our border, and we have grown like in during last 31 years. We have grown like anything. Then then certain issues are also there, like coke is being opposed, not for you can say they had been allowed in India. Pepsi was allowed in India, but their policies were anti-farmer. You can say we can say that they hadn't cared for, you can say, environmental factors. What happened in case of Palakkad, they had you can say taken out so much water that ultimately water had gone down in the vicinity of at least 25 more than 25 villages, and ultimately Coke's 4 to 5 plants, they are being closed in India. Some in Kerala, one is in Kerala, Palakkad, one is in over 2 plants in Rajasthan, one is in Varanasi. So they had taken so much water from ground, you can say ground level, and ultimately water had gone down. Ultimately the panchayat of that village had stopped them, that stop your operations. Like in case of Pepsi had taken you can say preventive measures and proactive policy, proactive measures, and they worked hard for recharging of you can say water strata in the country, and they are going well in case of water scarcity in India. They are recharging. Their punchline is that we are recharging more, we are returning back more water than what we are using. Then ultimately every company has to be work on sustainable factor. As I told you, it is economic factor, socio-cultural factors, and third one is environmental factors are there. So now a new policy of every multinational or big business organizations is that work on sustainability factor. Otherwise, it is very difficult to sustain, very difficult to work, because plenty of trade barriers they are being coming in terms of you can say socio-cultural factors. They may again come in, and you can say environmental factors like recently what you are in the you can say Arabian Sagar, Arabian Sea, we are facing you can say cyclones. It is because of ignorance of environmental factors. What is going on? The sea temperature is going up, and it is nowadays 25 degrees centigrade. It is disastrous for you can say to the you can say life of sea animals, sea organism. Ultimately, we will see typhoons. Ultimately, we see cyclones to great extent. Then certain natural factors, as I told you, calamities like cyclone, typhoons, hurricanes, and they stop operations. Like nowadays, we are feeling problems like factories in Gujarat, even in Rajasthan, Kerala, Karnataka, Orissa, and in Southeast Asia. I tell you, the problems we are facing, ultimately export organizations they are facing, ultimately they have stopped because their facilities they are marooned, they have losses, physical losses, or you can say because of high speed of winds due to this cyclone. Then like again another restraint is the natural calamities. It is not a natural, man-made is there. Pandemic, corona pandemic is there. So because of that, you can say skilled labor is not labor, labor is not labor. Ultimately, everybody is affected because of corona pandemic. Professionals, they are being killed and they are not joining, I tell you. And skilled workers have gone to their remote places or their you can say villages and towns and kasbas where to which place they belong. And another factor is there, just like wars are there. If you think seriously, it is also in no books it is being given that wars are restraining factors. I think it is the biggest restraining factor, like in case of Israel and Palestine. What is going on? Ultimately, whole Gulf is affected. Whole Gulf is affected. Crude, or you can say crude vessels, they have stopped. And they are not coming, they are not going. Production of you can say affected areas is being stopped. Ultimately, you can say export is being stopped from that place. So ultimately, you can say global economy is affected to great extent because of such type of wars, or you can say border issues are there. Then it hampers you can say transportation, logistics, and supply chain. Okay, so these are the important factors.